10 months ago, they lifted the Premier League trophy. Champions of England. Arne Slot's first season. A masterpiece. 84 points. A team that pressed, dominated, and won. The cops sang their names. The doubters were silenced. Liverpool were back on top of English football. But now, just 12 games into defending their title, Liverpool sit in 8th place, below Tottenham, below newly promoted Sunderland. 6 defeats already. More losses than they had in the entire previous campaign. A stunning collapse that nobody saw coming. This is the story of how champions became also rans in the space of a summer. This is the story of Liverpool's fall from grace. The fall from grace. Last season, Liverpool were unstoppable. 84 points. Premier League champions. Arne Slot walked into one of the most pressured jobs in football, replacing Jurgen Klopp, and delivered immediately. His tactical revolution had worked. The high press was back. The intensity returned. Liverpool looked like Liverpool again. But this season tells a different story entirely. A story of collapse, confusion, and crisis. Through 12 matches, Liverpool have lost 6 times in the league. 6 defeats. More losses than they had in the entire previous campaign when they lifted the trophy. 5 losses in their last 6 Premier League games alone. Let that sink in. 5 out of 6. That's not a bad run. That's a free fall. They sit in 8th place. 8th. Below newly promoted Sunderland, who everyone expected to struggle. Below a Tottenham side that can barely find the back of the net. 8 points behind the top 4. 12 points behind leaders Arsenal. The gap isn't just mathematical. It's psychological. The chasing pack can smell blood. This isn't just underperformance. This is a team in crisis. And the question everyone's asking is simple. How did it happen so fast? The summer that changed everything. To understand the collapse, we need to go back to summer 2025. The champagne had barely dried from the title celebrations when Liverpool's board made their move. They spent big, really big, £125 million on a single player, a British transfer record that shattered the previous mark. Alexander Isak, the Swedish striker who terrorized Premier League defenses at Newcastle. Clinical, intelligent, exactly what Liverpool needed to replace the aging Roberto Firmino. On paper, it was perfect. In reality, it's been a disaster. Isak has been injured more than he's been fit. When he has played, the chemistry isn't there. He doesn't press like Slot wants. His timing with Salah is off. His movement doesn't sync with the midfield. £125 million. And Liverpool look worse with him than without him. But Isak wasn't the only big money signing. £40 million for right-back Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, a flying wingback who was supposed to replace the irreplaceable. But Frimpong hasn't settled. The Premier League is faster, more physical than the Bundesliga. He's been exposed defensively, caught out of position, and when your right-back can't defend, the whole system crumbles. The integration has been a nightmare. New players struggling to adapt, old players confused by new roles. The chemistry that made Liverpool champions last season, that telepathic understanding between every position, it's been shattered. And then there's the elephant in the room, the wound that won't heal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the academy graduate who bled red, the Scouser who wore the captain's armband with pride. He chose Real Madrid. He chose to leave. And when Liverpool faced Madrid in the Champions League, when Alexander-Arnold came on as a substitute at Anfield, the place he called home, the jeers were deafening. The boos echoed around the stadium. Even Steven Gerrard, watching from the stands, couldn't hide his disappointment. You can replace a player's position, but you can't replace what Trent meant to that dressing room. That leadership, that connection to the club's soul. Liverpool haven't just lost a right back. They've lost their identity, tactical breakdown, and defensive disaster. On paper, Liverpool still play the same way. The high press, the aggressive fullbacks pushing forward, the compact midfield, the attacking intent. It looks like Slot's system. It sounds like Slot's philosophy. But watch closer. Something fundamental has broken. The defensive structure that kept them watertight last season, it's gone. Completely gone. Let me give you a number that tells the whole story. 11 consecutive matches without a clean sheet. 11 games. not one shutout. Last season's defensive fortress, the backline that suffocated opponents, now looks like a training ground where anyone can score. The high line that worked so brilliantly with Alexander-Arnold's recovery pace and Van Dijk's reading of the game, now it's a liability. Teams are simply hitting long balls over the top, bypassing the press entirely. And Liverpool's defenders, older, slower, less confident, are getting caught in no man's land. Too high to defend the space behind them, too deep to pressure the ball. Set pieces have become a nightmare. Corner kicks that used to be routine clearances now feel like penalties against Liverpool. They've conceded more goals from set pieces this season than the entire second half of last season. The organization isn't there. The marking is sloppy. And when you're chasing games every week, those moments become magnified. But here's the most damning statistic. The one that shows this isn't just bad luck or a rough patch. 6 consecutive games conceding first. 6 matches in a row where Liverpool have gone behind. Their worst run in over a decade. Think about what that does to a team psychologically. Every match, you're starting from behind. Every match, you're chasing. The press becomes desperate instead of controlled. The aggression turns into recklessness. When you concede first, your entire tactical identity shifts. You can't play patient. You can't control the tempo. You're forced to take risks. And those risks, against teams who know how to counterattack, are getting punished. Over and over again. This isn't just a defensive problem. This is a structural collapse. The gears that meshed perfectly last season are grinding against each other now, and nobody seems to know how to fix it. The matches that defined the crisis. Numbers tell one story. Statistics paint a picture. But football is defined by moments, by matches that break your spirit, by results that change everything. For Liverpool, 3 matches told the complete story of this collapse. 3 games that went from bad to worse to catastrophic. Match 1, Brentford 3, 2 Liverpool. October 26th, the Brentford Community Stadium. Liverpool traveled to West London needing a result, needing to stop the bleeding. They led 1-0, then 2-1. Twice they were in front. Twice they looked like they might finally get a win to build on. And then it all fell apart. The 88th minute. Virgil van Dijk, the captain, the Rock. He fouls a Brentford attacker. The referee initially calls it outside the box. Free kick, manageable. But then VAR intervenes. Check complete. The foul was inside the box. Penalty. 3-2 Brentford. Full time. Liverpool couldn't even hold on to a lead for 90 minutes. They couldn't close out a game they were winning. And that's when you knew. This team had lost something deeper than tactics. They'd lost the ability to win when it mattered. Match 2. Manchester City 3-0 Liverpool. November 9th. The Etihad Stadium. The clash everyone was watching. Liverpool against Manchester City. A rivalry that's defined the Premier League for years. Liverpool needed a statement. They needed to show they could compete with the elite. They needed to prove the Brentford loss was an aberration. Instead, they got humiliated. 3-0. It could have been 5. It could have been 6. Liverpool were never in the game. Not for a single moment. Just looking like schoolboys. The scoreline flattered Liverpool. City could have stopped playing after 60 minutes and still won comfortably. Even when Virgil van Dijk thought he'd pulled one back. A glimmer of hope. VAR ruled it out. Arne Slot admitted after the match that the disallowed goal wasn't why they lost. They lost because they were outplayed, outfought, outclassed. This was the moment everyone realized. Liverpool aren't just struggling. They're not even competitive anymore. 5 defeats in 6 league games. The champions were drowning. Match 3. Liverpool 0-3. Nottingham Forest. And then came today, November 22nd. Anfield. The Fortress. The place where Liverpool are supposed to be unstoppable. Nottingham Forest, sitting mid-table, came to town. Nobody gave them a chance. 0-3. At home. To Nottingham Forest. The 6th league defeat. The cop went silent. Fans started leaving with 20 minutes still to play. Empty red seats where there should have been hope. Where there should have been belief. After the final whistle, Arne Slot stood on the touchline and took full responsibility. He called the performance very bad. He admitted the tactics weren't working. But here's the thing about responsibility. It doesn't change results. It doesn't bring back points. And it doesn't answer the question that every Liverpool fan is asking right now. How do we stop this? How do we make it stop? The psychological dimension. Football isn't just tactics and transfers. It's not just formations on a whiteboard or numbers in a spreadsheet. It's emotion. It's belief. It's knowing, truly knowing, that when you step onto that pitch, your teammates have your back, that you can dig deep and find something extra when it matters most. Liverpool have lost all of that. The belief is gone. And once belief evaporates in a football team, everything else crumbles with it. But to understand how deep this crisis goes, we need to talk about July 3rd, 2025, the day Diogo Jota died. A car accident. Sudden. Tragic. Gone at just 28 years old. The Portuguese forward who'd given Liverpool so much, who'd scored crucial goals, who'd been part of the family. His number 20 was retired permanently. A mark of respect. A reminder of loss. You can't quantify what that does to a squad. The emotional weight of losing a teammate, a friend. The grief that hangs over a dressing room. Some wounds don't heal with time. They just become scars you carry. And Liverpool have been carrying that scar into every match this season. Combined with Alexander-Arnold's departure, the local boy who chose Madrid over home, it created fractures that never healed. Leadership voids that never got filled. The spine of the team, emotionally and tactically, was broken before the season even started. And here's what happens when a team stops believing. Every mistake gets magnified. Every close call feels like destiny working against you. That VAR decision against Brentford. Last season, Liverpool would have shaken it off and found a way to win. This season, it confirmed what they already feared, that they're not good enough anymore. 6 games in a row conceding first. That's not bad luck. That's a team that expects to lose, that walks onto the pitch already defeated. You can see it in their body language, the drop shoulders when they go behind, the lack of urgency in their pressing, the hesitation in their passing. Champions don't hesitate. Champions don't fear the moment. But Liverpool aren't champions anymore. Right now, they're just a team trying to remember what winning feels like, what comes next. So where do Liverpool go from here? Can Arne Slot repair what's broken? Can this team rediscover what made them champions just 10 months ago? The answers aren't simple, but the problems, those are crystal clear. First, integration. Alexander Isak needs to get fit and find his role in this system. The £125 million man has barely featured. Between injuries and poor form, Liverpool haven't gotten anything close to value from their record signing. They can't afford for that investment to fail. They need him scoring goals. They need him pressing. They need him to be the difference maker they paid for. Frimpong at right back needs time. Maybe a full season to adapt to the intensity of the Premier League. But here's the problem. Liverpool don't have time. They're 8 points behind the top 4 already. Champions League qualification is slipping away. And without Champions League football next season, how do you attract the players you need to rebuild? Second, defensive stability. The High Line worked beautifully last season with a settled back 4 who trusted each other completely. With Alexander-Arnold's pace covering the right side. With everyone knowing exactly where their teammates would be. Now, that trust is gone. The communication is fractured. Maybe Liverpool need pragmatism over philosophy right now. Maybe they need to sit deeper, protect more, concede possession if it means not conceding goals. It's not the Liverpool way. It's not the football that makes Anfield roar. But when you've lost 6 of 12, when you've conceded first 6 times in a row, maybe it's time to admit the philosophy isn't working anymore. Third, leadership. This is the big one. Virgil van Dijk is 34 years old, still world-class on his day, but those days are fewer and farther between. Mohamed Salah turns 34 next summer. The Egyptian king is still producing magic, but he can't carry this team alone. Not anymore. The veterans who carried Liverpool to the title, who gave everything under Klopp and then Slot, they're showing their age. Their legs aren't what they used to be. Their recovery takes longer. And leadership isn't just about what you do on the pitch. It's about what you inspire in others. Right now, Liverpool's young players aren't stepping up. They're not filling the void left by Alexander-Arnold. They're not becoming the next generation of leaders. Liverpool need their new signings to step up immediately. Not next season. Not in 6 months. Now. Or they're facing another summer of panic spending, another window of trying to buy their way back to relevance, and looming over everything is January. The transfer window opens in 5 weeks. Will Liverpool panic buy to salvage this season? Will they stick with Slot's vision and trust the process? Or will they do what desperate clubs do? Throw money at the problem and hope something sticks. The pressure is immense. With Champions League qualification already in doubt, every match from here becomes a final. Every point dropped could be the difference between European football and mid-table mediocrity. And once you fall into that mid-table trap, once the best players start looking elsewhere, the climb back is brutal. Liverpool are at a crossroads. The decisions they make in the next few weeks will define the next few years. Get it wrong, and this collapse becomes a long-term decline. Get it right, and maybe, just maybe, they can salvage something from this disaster of a season. But right now, it's hard to see where the solutions come from. Hard to see how this team rediscovers what made them special. The champions are broken, and putting the pieces back together will take more than tactics and transfers. It'll take a miracle. From champions to crisis in the space of 4 months. 4 months. That's all it took for Liverpool's world to fall apart. This collapse is more than tactical failures. It's more than bad luck with injuries or controversial VAR decisions. It's about chemistry lost, about belief shattered, about the brutal, unforgiving reality that in the Premier League, no trophy comes with a guarantee of tomorrow. Liverpool learned what every champion eventually learns. Success is fragile. The margin between dominance and disaster is paper thin. One bad transfer window, one key departure, one tragedy that breaks the team's spirit. That's all it takes. They won the league last season with 84 points and a vision. This season, with almost the same philosophy and more investment, they're drowning in 8th place. The beautiful game can be cruel, and right now, it's showing Liverpool no mercy. But here's what we know about this club. Here's what history tells us. Anfield doesn't stay quiet for long. Liverpool don't accept failure gracefully. They fight. They claw. They find a way back. They always have. Whether that fight starts in January with new signings, or next season with a rebuilt squad, or 5 years from now with a new generation, it will come. Champions don't stay down forever. But right now, in this moment, Liverpool are drowning. The season has only just begun, and it already feels like it's over. The gap to the top 4 grows wider with every passing week. The Champions League dream is fading. The fans who sang "You'll never walk alone" are questioning whether this team even recognizes the words anymore. From champions to crisis, from Anfield roaring to Anfield silent. This is Liverpool's fall from grace. And the scariest part? Nobody knows when it ends. Can Arne Slot turn this around? Or is Liverpool's collapse just beginning? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more football breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. We've got Arsenal's title charge coming next.